The Patriots are 10-2. You see, they own the best record in the NFL. They go to Buffalo. They beat them. They beat the Buccaneers in Tampa. They haven't lost a game on the road. It's you take some checks. They've hit some of the checkpoints, some of the markers of a healthy franchise. Tom, is anybody afraid of the Patriots?
No. You know why?
Why not? They shouldn't
because
be. Because
they haven't seen Ted Johnson demolish Jerome Bettis in an AFC Championship game on a key fourth down play. They haven't seen Rodney Harrison play at the level he did following up Lawyer Malloy. They haven't seen Willie McGinnis or Deion Branch or you name it. Those guys did it. You have to do it on these biggest stages to make people say, oh, Mac Hollins isn't just a role player having a good year. He's good. So they need that so that people start saying, oh.
Okay, so Tom Curran says, yeah, teams probably do not fear the Patriots around the NFL. Should they fear the Patriots, Chris Gasper?
Should they fear them? I would say no. They shouldn't fear them. They should respect them. They should know they're going to be in for a dogfight with them. But, I mean, you fear Tom Brady. You fear Ray Lewis. You fear greatness. And they're not there yet. You should definitely respect them. You should say, we're going to have to play one of our best games to beat them. And then the other thing that I think Curran hit on there is there's also fear of someone who is intimidating, physically. The game's changed. They're running a lot of guys. Like, they don't even want those guys in the league anymore, so that's hard to see. But I think fear at this point, and here's the other reason I'd say fear maybe isn't the right word. They said this on the broadcast yesterday. The Patriots have led at halftime the last 10 games in a row. In order to fear a team, I think you'd have to think, oh, man, even if we get on top of these guys, that might not be enough. So you might fear Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City. You might fear another team that has a longer track record and say, even if we get up on top of these guys, they're not done. We haven't seen that indication from the Patriots yet, which is credit to them. They haven't put themselves in that situation. But until you're in that situation, I think fear is a difficult word to use. Again, the word I would use is respect. And teams should definitely respect them.
I think they should fear them.
Okay.
I think they should fear them. Let me tell you why. Sometimes you don't know that you should fear someone until after the fact. So if we go back to Patrick Mahomes, the first time he was in the playoffs, nobody feared him. The first time he was in the playoffs. Even the Patriots, and they play them in 2018 in the AFC Championship game. Hey, go there, Patrick Mahomes, he got all these numbers, but he hasn't played us. He hasn't been against Bill Belichick. And then you look back and you see what he did in that second half, and you look at what he has done since, you're like, well, I didn't know well enough to fear him. So I guess I reject the argument that, you fear somebody once they put something on paper. Well, yeah, that's easy.
Right.
Okay? Yeah, I know that. How about fearing them just based on what they've done in the regular season? Sometimes the regular season is a predictor of what's going to happen. So you said, Gasper, well, they've led at halftime in most of their games. Okay, flip side of that is they've led at halftime in most of their games. They're good enough to lead at halftime. They're good enough to be undefeated on the road. Everybody says beautiful things about Mike Vrabel. I mean, I keep hearing that Drake May is an MVP candidate. If you put all those things together, yes, I fear that. If all of those things are true, then I'm not excited to play a team that has a great coach, a great quarterback, and hasn't lost a game on the road.
Okay, so do you fear the Detroit Lions?
They don't have a Coach of the Year candidate. They've lost games on the road, and they don't have an MVP candidate.
But they have a track record the last couple of years of being one of the most physical teams in the league. They have one of the most talented rosters. They have a very good quarterback. They have a head coach who turned that thing around and is very good. So you're saying you don't fear them? Even they have more of a track record.
What I'm saying is that, like, basically, you can't have it both ways. All the things I'm reading and hearing can't be true, and then you turn around and say, well, don't worry about the Patriots. Well, stop writing the articles about how Mike Vrabel is the coach of the year. Stop telling me that Drake May has done things that no quarterback has ever done before, and then say, well, I'm not really excited. I'm not really scared of the team.
I think that a lot of people probably haven't seen Drake May do it against the toughest of competition. And once he has an opportunity to do that, I think a couple of these games coming up, maybe then they become a team that other teams fear. I think Mike Vrabel, though, should be definitely heavily considered in that because I think he's one of the best coaches in the conference.
Agree.
Right.
So he's not going to screw the game up.
Well,
he's not going to make some of the basic mistakes you're seeing other coaches make on a week-to-week basis.
But hasn't he kind of proven? I mean, if you look at the Vrabel part of this this whole fear conversation, Vrabel came in as a coach with a reputation of taking what you give him and maximizing it. Now, I know that didn't happen at the end in Tennessee.
Yeah.
He had a long losing streak, and there was some dysfunction.
Beginning either.
But if you look at Vrabel taking Ryan Tannehill and getting to a conference championship game, coming into Foxborough and beating Tom Brady in his last game as a Patriot, so that was his reputation. Isn't he proving that now that he is a coach that could take something that you're not that impressed with and make it presentable? So he's
a heck of a coach.
So I'm saying, but you've already got that part of it from Vrabel. You've got May, who was, and I look back at this, Gasper, the real 33rd team, not the one in North Carolina, the real 33rd team. There's a website, 33rd team. But they were looking at the quarterbacks in the 2024 draft, and one of the scouts there said, the best quarterback in this class is Drake May. Said Drake May, and they gave him a grade that was off the charts. So Drake May is living up to the hype that was predicted for him. So if you put all these things together, maybe it's happening and we just don't see it.
That's possible. I would just say this on it, though. It's like, were the 2001 Patriots feared, like, during that run?
And they weren't, and they should have been.
But
right?
were they feared in 2002 when they went 9-7 and didn't make the play? Like, the Patriots weren't feared as the Patriots until 2003. So it takes some time.
So maybe it's just that.
You got to earn the respect, which is the word that you.
The respect the Patriots have already earned. I think it's harder to earn fear than it is respect. Give the Patriots their respect. They should be respected. But fear, to me, I think you got to have a little longer track record to fear from other professional athletes, other coaches. Fear's like, I feared Kobe Bryant. I feared Larry Bird. I feared Tom Brady. All these Michael Jordan, all these great guys. Joe Montana with the ball at the end. You fear that because they earn that reputation.
But I feared Jordan before he even won anything.
That's because you're from
But I also grew up in Cleveland.
Yeah, you're from Cleveland. That's different. That's Cleveland. Yeah, that's cheating.
And here's why the Patriots are already earning the respect that Gasper's talking about, and maybe should be feared, as Holley mentions. The latest AFC playoff picture, they're the top seed at the moment. Broncos had a bye. So
don't worry about that. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to these people. 10-2, 9-game winning streak. Don't fear it. It's not real.
And also winning games when not playing well. The Colts remain third, but they dropped a game to the Chiefs. Ravens taking over the top spot in the AFC North. I don't think that's a surprise to many. The Bills are now the 7th seed behind the Chargers and the Jaguars. You got the Steelers, Texans, and Chiefs. They're all on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
That's kind of the fascinating part here. So who are going to be the teams that are out? Like, who is not going to make it?
I was thinking about this today. I think there's a good chance the Bills are out. Because if you look at their schedule, they have the Steelers, then they have the Bengals. Joe Burrow is going to play in that game, we think. And they have the Patriots, and they still have to play the Eagles. And the way they're playing right now, how disappointing their season has been, the lack of weapons on offense, what's happened with Keon Coleman there, Drake May. Josh Allen turning the football over, sort of reverting there. He's trying to do too much, and they're turning the ball over. That game against the Texans, that was a streak. 3 straight games now, they've turned the ball over 3 or more times. They haven't done that in almost 20 years. You have to go back to 2006. I would not be surprised if the Bills miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one. And look at it. It's going to be really difficult for them, Giles, to win the division. They've got 2 losses in the division already. And one of those divisional losses is to the Patriots, and the Patriots have a real lead on them. So, the Bills have a tougher schedule than the Patriots, even with the injuries to the offensive line here to Jarrett Wilson and Will Campbell. It looks good for the Patriots. So if they're now out of the divisional conversation, and I think they are.
Yep,
I think they are too.
Yeah, they're out of.
I agree.
So now you're in a dogfight, and you get tiebreakers and conference record. I think that's a really good call on their part.
By the way, with the Chiefs
and the Steelers too. I think the Steelers.
I got the Steelers out as well. I would be surprised if they made it. The question though, with the Chiefs on the outside looking in, is there any chance that they don't make it? Do you think there's any chance?
There's a chance. Yeah. There is a chance. There's because their schedule's tough. They have
and
games
they're
at the Texans.
They're just 6-5.
Yeah.
That's it.
I know they are. They have 3 relatively easy road games left on their schedule. The 3 home games are relatively tough games, but again, that means those teams have to go into Kansas City in December and January, where if their season's on the line, the guy you fear is Patrick Mahomes, right? That's
Still,
the guy you're talking
yeah,
about.
I agree.
So I think they still find a way in. The Texans are a team that interests me based on what we saw on Thursday night. Not just because they beat the Bills, it was just how they beat the Bills.
Defensively.
With Davis Mills and that defense. By the way, how many best defenses in football are there right now? It feels like there's like
There's
3
a
or
lot.
4.
I mean, Denver's up there, Houston's up there, obviously.
But Houston might legitimately be. They might have the best defense.
I think
in
they do.
football.
I mean, they're great. They're great at every level.
The numbers say they are. The numbers say they're the number one defense in football.
Yeah.
And I mean, you saw what they did to Josh Allen was just crazy. And here's the thing that really stood out to me. They got those 8 sacks against Allen, and most of the time they sent 4.
Yeah.
They weren't sending extra guys. It was just like, hey, we got our guys in coverage. We'll beat you on the defensive line. We will kick your ass on the defensive line, and that's what they do.
So I would say, the Texans are interesting to me. I think the winner of that Chiefs-Texans game, which is coming up, that team's going to make the playoffs.
So it's a playoff game in its own.
Yeah, I feel like it is, and I feel like the Chiefs are going to win it. So I feel like the Chiefs ultimately are going to find their way in. Because here's the thing, too. You look at some of the numbers. The Chiefs' defense their numbers are good. The issue has been more on offense for the Chiefs, believe it or not. Even with Patrick Mahomes, they can't really run the ball. They ran it a ton yesterday with Kareem Hunt, and then the weapons are not the greatest, but their defense is still pretty good.
And I know Patriots fans, this is a story for another day. I'm going to say this quickly. I know Patriots fans, especially when there was a thought of the Chiefs possibly winning 3 straight Super Bowls, it was like it's a threat to the dynasty. Mobilize! They can't take over our dynasty. But this is why the Patriots dynasty is so impressive. The Chiefs have won, I think, 9 straight AFC West titles. It's either 9 or 10. They got 9 and are on their way to 10. They're not going to get to 10. The Patriots had a streak of 17 out of 19.
It's unbelievable.
In the division. So that's 7 more than what it just shows how hard this is to do. It's just impossible, some of these numbers. And what the Chiefs have done is dynamic. But the Patriots is still at another level.
Of course, there was never a Justin Herbert in the AFC East that whole time.
That's right. True. Not a Justin Herbert. Not even a really respectable Bo Nix.
No.
And you want to bring up Geno Smith?
Chad Pennington.
There was a lot of Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Chad Pennington.
He literally was.
Including Geno Smith.
Playing himself. Geno Smith as himself.
Tuesday at 6
in this
p.m.
movie.
Catch another edition of the Patriots Talk podcast. Tommy Kern's got the latest on the pass after their win over the Bengals.